Okay guys, let's jump into lesson 8 and get ourselves moving. Remember, pause, copy your stuff down, and then come and listen to the stuff. Alright, so look, we're going to update our contents, get some notes on page 27 in your 8th assignment group. Right, pause to get down what you need. This is where we're at today. Alright, so I want you to go ahead and pause this and copy this down. That includes the graph. Alright, so let's talk about what's going on here. So I tried to explain this as much as possible. So what's happening is this rabbit jumps 8 feet and it goes 3 feet high. So I just counted out 8. And I did halfway in the middle, I did my 0.3 feet high. And I connected my curve. So just sort of mimicking this. And then what we want to do is we want to try to write the equation. Now it didn't fit on here on what I filled out, so I'm going to write it off to the side how to do this. So basically, if you always start your graph at the origin, you're always going to have the point 0, 0. So we have these 2 points on the graph. We got the point 0, 0 and 8, 0. Well, these have x and y values. And then we also have the vertex, which is right there in the middle, and that's 4, 3. And so the vertex gives us the h and k. Now, we are given a point on the graph, so I'm going to use the origin as my x and y. So what I can do is I'm going to plug the x, the y, the h, and the k into this equation that's highlighted. And the only letter going to be left is the a. So I'm going to put 0 into the y. I do not know the a yet. I'm going to put 0 into x because that's from the origin. X was 0, y 0. I can use a point on the graph to find the missing piece. And then it's minus h, so it's minus 4 to the second power. And then it's plus k, so it's plus 3. And now I'm going to solve this down. So 0 equals a, and it's negative 4 to the second power plus 3. Obviously, that should be square root of 16. So that's 16a plus 3. We're going to subtract 3 on both sides. And we're going to get negative 3 equals 16a. And you will almost always get a real ugly fraction here. Negative 3 over 16 equals a. It almost always is. So well, look, we have the a value and we have the h and k. So we can use that to write our equation. So I'm going to write it right here next to it. Oh, whoa, Nelly. Let's get back. There we go. I pressed something on my computer. So, oh, man. Let me get the right color so we can see it. So it's going to be y equals, now instead of a, it's going to be negative 3 over 16, x minus my h, which is minus 4, and plus my k, which is 3. So the generic equation of this has the x and y as variables. But when we're missing a letter, we can use a point on the graph to put into x, y to help us find that missing point. But your general name is always going to be set up this way. So let's look at another example of this. And unfortunately, my stuff didn't show up, so I'm going to do it off to the side again. You got good old Messi kicking a soccer ball, and it went 20 feet high, and it went 60 feet. So there's the graph. It went from 0 to 60. I'm going to redraw it up here where it's easier to see. It went from 0 to 60. It went up 20 feet. Now, what's halfway in between 0 and 60? 30. So that's where the peak of the ball is going to be. So that's the point 30, 20. That's my vertex. Let's go ahead and just kind of connect this with a little round curve as best as we can. Now, I know that this point over here is the origin, is 0, 0. And that's going to give me an xy value. The vertex gave me the hk. So we're going to use those values to find the missing letter A. So I'm going to plug 0 into y, and then it's, don't know the a, 0 into x, my h is minus 30 to the second power plus 20. Then I'm going to just break this down. Now 0 minus 30 is negative 30, so I can go ahead and square that and get 900a plus 20. Subtract 20 on both sides, and that gives me 900a over here on the right. Divide by 900. Now if you are not good at reducing fractions, you could just leave it here, but I'd prefer them reduced or in Algebra 2. Use your calculator to do it for you. This reduces to negative 1 over 45. That's the a value. Well, hey, look, if we've got the a and we've got the h and the k over here, let's write this equation out. So I'm going to put in my little space here. We're putting the y and x back in as letters. So it's y equals negative 1 over 45, parentheses, x minus my h, which is 30, squared, plus my k, which is 20. And there it is. We just got this ugly looking equation written out. So we're going to talk about this in Zoom as well. But this is a really cool and important skill set that we will be using many times. And so we're getting you guys developed into some good math stuff here. All right. I wanted to do a little quick review also on domain and range, because I saw that was causing some problems. So here's the deal. Sometimes you're not given the graph, you're given an equation. Well, man, we got graphing calculators, so go graph that thing. So if you graph this one, we can see that the furthest left this goes is negative 2, and it goes to the right forever. Now, why is it giving me yellow? Quit doing that. Negative 2, and it goes to the right forever. So there's my domain. It's greater than or equal to negative 2. Now the range is how high and low it goes. The lowest this one goes is to 0, and it goes up forever. It doesn't ever stop going up. So it goes from 0, and it's going to go up forever. So the range, your y values are greater than or equal to 0. So if you don't know how to work with the equation, that's fine. Just get a graph out of it and do the graph. That'll work just as well as anything else that we do. If you're kind of curious and you're wondering why does the x value, stop at negative 2 going left, because if you put any number smaller than negative 2 into here, you're going to get a negative underneath the radical. The smallest number you can square root is 0. All right, guys, that's it. Go ahead and hit up. You got 2 problems to practice. One of them is going over what we did today. One's a review from other stuff. And then we've got some quadratic work. These are interactive items. The one's a Google Doc and one is a Google Slide, so that you can just interact with them and you'll be good to go. It'll save you up. All right, take care. We'll see you in your Zoom meeting.